Good evening and welcome to the Jay Duke Show on Horse Network. It's a beautiful Monday evening and we're getting ready for a very exciting show tonight. I have two young superstars of the sport joining us, Daisy Farish and Sam Walker. Really excited for this show. Been looking forward to it. We're going to have a little bit of a border battle between Canada and the U.S. between the two of them. We've got a couple of features tonight for the viewers, so hope you all have a lot of fun. I want to thank Horse Network for hosting, as always, Carly Sparks. She works tirelessly on this project, and I appreciate it so much. And she's behind the scenes tonight, so thank you to Carly. I want to thank Stable Secretary for being with us tonight as a sponsor. Save time, stress, and money with Stable Secretary. Keep equine business records and health records organized in one comprehensive system. Use Stable Secretary to manage your barn anytime and anywhere with your smartphone, iPad, tablet, or computer. So thank you to Stable Secretary for joining us and keeping all of our horses and such organized throughout the day. We're going to bring on our guests. We have joining us is Canadian rider Sam Walker. He has won the ASPCA McLean Medal, one of only 3 Canadians to do that, by the way. He's won the Washington International Medal. He's won the CET Finals Medal at the Toronto Royal Winter Fair. He's won the Equitation Championship in Wellington. He's been team gold medalist and individual silver medalist at North American Young Riders Championships, and he's represented Team Canada in Nations Cup competition at the Palm Beach Masters. Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for joining us. And we also have another special guest. Daisy Farish is coming to us, and her list of accomplishments is wonderful too. She's won the North American Young Riders individual gold medal. She's won the Hunterdon Cup. She's been Pony Finals champion. My daughter's a little jealous of that one. She loves Pony Finals. She's won the USET National Finals. She's won the gold medal at the Prix de States at Harrisburg. And she now rides as a professional for Ken and Emily Smith at Ashland Farms, which is, for those of you who have not heard of Ashland Farms, it's one of the, probably, I'd say, the top 3 farms in North America as far as producing riders and horses. So thank you, Daisy, for joining us. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent, thanks. And thanks so much for joining us. This is, this show here is to bring all the top, riders and personalities into the sport and to all the viewers, and to have 2 up-and-coming stars. You two are already very well known at very young ages. So a lot of people are looking forward to this show. So thanks for being here. Let's start with you, Sam. What are your 2 favorite aspects of the sport of show jumping? There's so many different elements to it. What are the 2 things that, get you up every morning and get you going?
I love the mental game of it, because I find that riding is almost like 90% mental. And I like going to the barn every day, and it really puts my brain in a good spot. And it makes me motivated to get out of bed in the morning. The other thing that I love is I love the team aspect, even though it's an individual sport. Now, we all ride at bigger barns or smaller barns, but I think in the end, we all come together as a team as one, and you and your horse are a team. So I think that those 2 things are what makes me motivated and what I love the most about the sport.
It takes a team to have success in the sport, from your owners to your farrier to your veterinarian to your barn manager to your grooms to the horses. I mean, I look at the sport of show jumping as a team sport. It's not, there's only one person out there, but there's the 2 of you that are out there, and having a successful team behind you, which obviously you do. I've been, reading up on you, and it sounds like you have a really great support system and a big team behind you. That is so key to that success. Can you mention some of the people that do help you out that way?
Oh, there's tons, but I'd say that most influential are definitely my dad, Scott Walker, my mom, Dee Walker, Missy Clark and John Brennan from North Run, my amazing grooms and helpers at the barn, Nicole Weatherall, Daniil Winters, Emma Irwin. There's so many people that go into it. My owners, Marble Hill Farm, Cabana Coast. The list just goes on. And if I could sit here and thank them all, I mean, we'd be here all night.
For sure. Daisy, how about you? Obviously you love the sport and love the horses. What is your favorite part of what you do?
First and foremost, I would say my favorite part about this sport are the horses. I think I'm in awe every day of what they are able to do for us and what they're willing to do for us. And I think that we're all just so lucky to be able to call this a job at the end of the day, because it's more of something that I've always enjoyed doing, and I'm very lucky that I get to call it work, as some would say. But for sure, that's got to be my first one, or being able to spend all of our days with horses. And the second thing that I love about this sport is the turnover, I would say, in who's on top. I mean, it's one day someone's winning everything, the next day, you know, they're having a bad day, another one, someone else is winning. It's always changing, and there's always an opportunity to grow and be on the top the next day.
Yeah, that's a great point with this sport. In many other sports, if you look at, say, tennis or golf or whatever, you generally kind of have the same 5-10 people that win a lot of it. And in show jumping, it always seems like, you know, the top 50 in the world, 25 or 30 could easily win any day. And that is an amazing part of it. So you're right. You always feel like you have a shot. And,
yeah.
And is this something you thought, you know, did you always think, okay, I'm going to go into horses and do this full time? You know, you've just started your professional career. How long have you been planning this? And, you know, what was the support from your parents like in regards to that?
Well, I've grown up very much involved with horses my whole life. My parents weren't show jumping riders, but they are in the racehorse industry of thoroughbreds. So I actually grew up on a thoroughbred farm, Lanes End Farm, which is a farm that my dad runs that breeds and races thoroughbreds. And so that was from day one, surrounded by horses and fields around our house. And my older sisters showed competitively in the hunters when they were younger. So that's sort of how I got into it. And from there, I started showing and showing and showing, and I got more and more involved and started taking more time away from school to be traveling. And now here I am.
There you are. And you're planning on this for the long term, I assume?
Definitely.
Excellent. Sam, there's a lot of challenges with you know, this sport. There's the challenges just Daisy mentioned about time off from school, the education challenges, there's scheduling, the travel, there's a physical toll on your body, which hopefully you two won't have too many hardships. There's the mental stresses of it. What do you find to be the biggest challenge of being a young rider in the sport today? Oh. I'm not sure. Do we have Sam on there? Daisy, did you hear that question?
Yes, I did.
We'll go with Daisy here. And what do you think is the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, I think, being a young rider, was that the question?
I mean, there's plenty of different things you could go to, but I think the number one. Hey,
This is the joys of live television and technology today. Can be little glitches. Sam's coming to us from Aiken, South Carolina, and we did have problems with another guest in Aiken.
Sorry.
There you go. Okay, Sam, let's try that again. What do you think is the biggest challenge as a young equestrian? Okay, so Sam, what we're going to do is going to have you log out and try logging back in. And Daisy, you can go with that question for us, please.
Okay. For me, I would say there are a lot of different challenges of being a young rider in the sport, obviously, but some of them for sure. I mean, this sport goes for so long. We're now, as young professionals at 19, competing against some of the best riders in the world who have 40 plus years of experience on us. So in that sense, it's lovely and difficult because you get to jump in this sport if you're lucky enough for a very long time and always learning and growing and getting better. But it also makes it a little bit hard to compete sometimes as a young equestrian.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of longevity in it. And, you know, definitely that it seems to be that the top riders are generally around in the late 20s to mid 30s. But there's also so many successful riders that are, you know, riding into their 50s and 60s and still winning. And experience is such an important part of the sport. And so at the stage that you're at now, it's like you're fast tracking, and there's so much to learn with it.
Yeah.
That is definitely. What about as far as the travel and that? Do you find the travel part of it and that working every day, is that a toll for you, or do you just love it?
For me, probably after a few weeks of really long shows with many horses, I would say I'm tired or however I feel at that time. But then as soon as we have an easy day, I regret saying that, and I'm ready to do the long days again. Right. I like having full days riding. Sometimes in these shows with our equitation horses and the clients, horses that we ride and train, we'll end up riding 16 horses in a day, and it'll be a full day. But those are almost my favorite days, are the ones that are really busy.
Absolutely. Sam, are you with us? Can you hear us now? Oh, it's back to Aiken. This happened in the Kevin Babington show with Diana Babington. She was in Aiken, and
yes,
we also had issues with that. Okay, that's okay. What can you hear? Challenges being a young equestrian. What can you go with that for us and let us know what your biggest challenge is?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest challenge is just staying focused and trying to stay on track with your goals. Looking ahead, you kind of have to set goals and then work back from them. So I think sometimes losing sight of your goals can be something that's challenging and something that happens. But it's okay to have one or two bad days and not lose sight of your goal. I think just trying to stay on track and not getting lost with one bad round is probably the most difficult thing.
Right. Yeah. Staying even keel. Are you a goal setter, Sam? Have you set goals for yourself? And if so, could you share them with myself and the viewers as far as what your career goals are?
Yes, for sure. I think my most recent goal that I accomplished was jumping on my first Nations Cup team. That one was definitely a huge goal of mine that I worked really, really hard to accomplish. I want to thank all of my teammates and Mark Lask and the Chef to Keep for allowing me to accomplish that goal. And a goal for the future is just, to hopefully try and make some more Nations Cup teams and jump some bigger classes. I'm still extremely green in that sense, and I really need some more experience. So I'm hoping that by acquiring the horsepower and getting some help from my owners and the whole team, that we can do that and hopefully move forward and try and move ahead and move up.
Nice. Daisy, how about you? Is there a certain accomplishment that you'd really like to get done? A certain event you want to win or something like that in your future, or is it more broad than that?
For me, it's a little bit more broad. I keep it a little bit broad in that sense that my career goal is to be jumping at the top of the sport of show jumping, and hopefully to be able to represent the United States on Senior Nations Cups. And I would like to compete at a championship for sure for the United States if I'm lucky enough to have that opportunity.
Nice. And Daisy, speaking about that, you split your time really between the hunter ring and the jumper ring. Do you have a preference for what you prefer, the hunters or the jumpers? It sounds like the jumpers are a little bit your goal.
Yeah, for sure. My main focus is show jumping. I never actually I always have done the hunters just through catch rides or when I was a junior, and now it's a part of my job at Ashland Farm, and I love doing the hunters, but for sure for my career, my main focus is show jumping.
Nice. Well, we were able to have a moment. I do generally send an outline to the guests, but we do have a little surprise for you guys tonight. We were able to get a couple pictures of Daisy from her history in show jumping, and so Carly is wonderful about this. So Carly, I think we're going to show pictures, and you can tell us maybe how this moment was for you. Carly, do you have picture of Daisy? There we go. So what are we up to here, Daisy? What are we talking about?
This would be, I believe this horse's name was, I think that might have been Aaron Gobra.
Okay. How old were you?
I couldn't tell you. If I had to guess, I'd say probably about 9.
Yeah, that's great. And that's pretty good position for a 9-year-old. You can see you're already, there's a lot of really, really good basics there. And apparently you also did some stuff outside of riding. I think we have another picture of you doing something else.
Oh gosh, you guys really went diving.
Yeah, so you modeled for your mother's clothing company, is that correct?
Yes, I did. My mom has a clothing company for young kids, and I was a frequent modeler, much to my dismay. But
well, thought we'd have a little fun thing. Thanks for being such a great sport about that, Sam. We have a bit of a throwback piece for you here as well, and Carly's going to play a little clip from several years ago. Okay, we didn't catch that audio there, but Sam, do you remember that interview?
Oh no.
So in that interview for the viewers, Sam was being asked about being the next Captain Canada, and he's at the Toronto Royal Winter Fair, and not sure what happened to our audio there, but he's talking about how he's going to be the next Ian Miller of the sport. Do you remember that, Sam?
I believe I think I was at the Royal Winter Fair. Oh.
Well, we're having a little trouble with Sam's audio still, unfortunately, guys. But he's at the Royal Winter Fair, and he's talking about.
Well, I mean, I kind of remember.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to, and we'll hopefully get Sam's connection a little bit better there. We need to.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Somehow. Oh, yeah. It's just, it's really in and out, unfortunately. We keep missing most of what you're saying. But, you know what we're going to do is we're going to move forward here and talk about, actually, we have a commercial break for you. We're going to take 20 seconds and just take a little break. We're going to try to get Sam set up. And we're going to take a quick break to hear from our friends at Stable Secretary. And then we're going to come back with some very important questions about what our young riders would like to see changed about the sport in just 20 seconds. Go ahead. Okay, so Daisy, you know, there's a lot of people that know you in the sport already, of course. And what do you feel your responsibilities are as a role model in the sport? You know, how do you look at that? And, you know, at such a young age to be influencing others and have others following you on social media, watching you in the ring and emulating you. What do you feel you have to do as a role model?
I first of all think it's still amazing to think that there are some kids out there who look up to me that way, and I definitely take that responsibility very seriously to those. I think the main things are just basic human role model traits that I try to have with myself, just sportsmanship, gracious, hard work, determination, all of those just basic things. And I think that another very important thing to try to emulate for kids is just the basic horsemanship aspect and being kind to your horses, being gracious to these animals that do what they do for us, and and keeping it very simple at that.
Yeah, and the horsemanship is such a big part of it. I think on almost every episode on this show, we talk about horsemanship and the lack of it. And it's definitely, there's some people out there like yourself that really do a great job with that part of it and emphasize that as a focus. And we really want to encourage that because it certainly has been a problem, particularly in the United States, as far as not all of everyone on the same page as far as putting the horses first. So thank you very much for those words. Sam, how about you as a role model? What do you feel your responsibilities are as a young rider?
I say as a young kid, first of all, can you guys hear me just fine now?
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, perfect. I'd say as a role model, maybe for younger kids in the sport that are doing ponies or lower level jumpers or even starting in the equitation, I think as a role model for other people in the sport, kind of like Daisy said, you just have to be very gracious when you win and very gracious when you lose as well. I think it's a real test of somebody's character to see how they react when they lose, not only when they win, because it's very, very easy to win classes, but it's very, very difficult to, still be very grateful when things don't go your way. And I think that keeping that in mind and, making sure that you don't look spoiled, or you have to keep in mind that these are live animals and they're horses, and at the end of the day we do this because we love the animals, not because we're going in to win a 10-cent ribbon. And I think when it comes down to it, you can't get too, like I said before a little bit with the results, you can't get too caught up with when it doesn't go your way, because just because you had one difficult jump or missed a lead change or something, that really doesn't mean that your whole entire round was bad. So I think that just, keep staying level-headed and trying to exactly be a good role model by being a good loser when it doesn't go your way. Obviously we all want to do well, but it can't always go your way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really well put. And thank you for those. That's great advice for all competitors of all levels to follow. You can't win every day. You win one day and the next day you're in the dirt. That's a little bit the sport. And you just have to just keep working at it. And it's definitely character building. And certainly you two have done that. Sam, what's the one thing in the sport of show jumping that you would like to see change the most? Is there something that really stands out that you would like to, and obviously there's so many different aspects to that question, but is there something that stands out that you'd like to see as an improvement to the sport?
I don't know about something that could be improved. I know that maybe for me in the United States and Canada, I wish that more younger kids would be pushed towards the jump ring at a younger age. When you're playing tennis or golf, when everybody stands on the driving range, you're all doing the same sport. But I find that the hunters and the jumpers are maybe different sports. And in Europe, they don't have the hunters, sorry. Mm-hmm. So I think if there was more of a program to push kids and younger, like all the kids that go to pony finals, if they had one pony hunter and one pony jumper, like they do when they have one junior jumper and one junior hunter, I think that'd be very important. And I actually think it would make for more depth to the team, especially in Canada, and in the United States. I mean, the United States has 10 times the people and 10 times the riders, but I think that pushing the kids towards the pony jumpers and the lower level jumpers at a far, far younger age would be the best. I started doing the jumpers when I was like 7 years old, a pony, before they really had pony jumpers in North America. And my dad actually put me on pony jumpers and then up to junior jumpers before I even started doing the equitation. And I actually think it made for a better equitation career, because I wasn't brought up being like, oh, you have to be perfect every time. Oh, it was a bad round because you missed a lead change, whatever. Our rule of thumb has always been, whatever you do, it's over, under, or through. Like you get to the other side of the jump first and foremost.
Yes.
And then by the time I was ready to be polished, I'll call it, I had the willpower to at least keep going if something went wrong, and it wasn't like the end of the world to me if I missed a change or had a swap. Whereas kids today, I find they get so upset when you miss a lead change or you have a swap or something doesn't go, even you rub a jump and you see they're like crying, and that's the one thing that I wish really maybe we could just change the focus a little bit more.
That's well said. I'm a big advocate for the pony jumpers. I really like how that progresses the riders in Europe. I grew up on pony jumpers. I was 10, 11, 12 years old, and we were showing in the meter 20s, and we were competing in the international ring at Spruce Meadows, on our ponies jumping meter 20 at 10 years old. And yeah, you learn a lot of great skills doing that. As opposed to, putting these younger kids up onto big horses that are really quiet and then just, kicking and clucking. Daisy, what do you think about what Sam said? You're, from that American culture where the hunters and the equitation is really where it all begins, and that develops riders. And that's obviously been very successful. What do you think about Sam's point there?
I think Sam has a very interesting point there. And I think that in some ways, I think that probably is true and would make a difference for sure. I think I can't speak for Canada, but in the United States, pony jumpers are rarely seen here. They have the select few that we see at pony jumper finals in the summer and all that, but there really aren't very many pony jumpers that you see around the show on a weekly basis here. But I don't know, because when I put it into my own shoes, I was very traditionally did the pony hunters and all that when I was young. I would say full force did pony hunters. And when I moved on to horses, the first thing I got was a jumper, and I never felt behind at all in that regard.
And
I don't either way.
And I don't mean that the kids are behind. I'm just saying that maybe I remember myself, like I never wanted to do the hunters when I was a little kid. I always wanted to be in the jumper ring. So I think it would attract more people, that it would just give them more options, I feel like, at a younger age. And I'm not even
definitely be a more of an open option at the show, that it should be a class that's available and enough people in it to compete for the kids that do want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't even need to be like pony jumpers as much as you were on a horse when you were super young. I'm just saying it would be nice to have a division that steers like super young kids into the jumper ring super early.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah. And this shows that, there is more than one way of doing it right. We, a lot of times talk about coaching and systems of riding and that. And if you watch the top riders in the sport, there's a lot of different ways of doing it right. There's a lot of different ways of being successful. And, certainly like, the American forward system of riding, for example, works wonderfully. And I coach it, and certainly, you guys are both very familiar with it and implement those structures. But there is more than just one way of doing it. And I think there's more one way of just developing riders as well. And I think that's a really interesting discussion. Daisy, is there something that you would like to see changed in the sport that, you think is a problem or lacking, or something that could be make it better?
I'd say one thing that is interesting to me about our sport versus other ones is that it is not very sponsor oriented, in the sense of other sports that brands and these big names are all very involved in owning cars or big brands of clothes that sponsor athletes. I think that that's a little bit different in our sport that we don't see so much. We have our brands of riding clothes and whatnot, but it's funny to me that it's a very closed off community in that sense, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing at all, but it's just something different in our sport.
Yeah, then that's we've been talking about that since I was your age, actually. Everything always comes from within the sport, as opposed to getting outside of it, and I think that's very, very well put. And keep up that fight for sure, because the more you can bring in outside support, the more the sport grows. So that, So we have a new feature tonight, and we're going to play a little show jumping trivia game. We're going to have a border battle, Canada versus the U.S. The guests do not know the questions, and so we're gonna surprise them a little bit, and we're going to see how good they are at trivia. So let's play show jumping trivia. Okay, so we're going to start off with Sam. You get question number 1. Sam, let's see. In 1980, there was an alternate Olympics. There was a war going on with Afghanistan, and so there was an alternate Olympics, so the world was kind of split. At the alternate Olympics, what team won the gold medal in show jumping? Was it A, USA, B, Canada, C, Germany, or D, Lithuania?
I think I'm going to go with Germany.
Oh, well, that would be a very good guess. But here I was hoping you know your Canadian heritage, because it was Canada that won that. Michelle Vaillancourt, Mark Laskin, and Jimmy Elder. Yes, so Canada actually won the gold medal at the 1980 alternate Olympics. And the alternate Olympics, I mean, actually the teams that went to Russia were very weak. So that was actually for show jumping the real gold medal. So no, sorry, we don't know we're off to a poor start for my home country. So we're going to go to Daisy. I'm going to go to Daisy, see what she can do.
I was thinking of the Olympics from the 1968 Olympics with Jimmy Day. I thought that was the last gold medal we won.
Oh, no, because this one didn't officially count because it was the alternate Olympics. That's why. Daisy, name the American rider who did not win an individual medal at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Was it A, Conrad Homfeld, B, Greg Best, or C, Joe Fargis?
I'm going to go with C, Joe Fargis.
And Joe Fargis actually won the gold medal on a little thoroughbred named Touch of Class. And if you guys want to see an amazing video, watch Touch of Class and Joe ride at the LA Olympics, and it was absolutely incredible. Greg Best was at Young Riders at that time, winning a gold medal on Gem Twist. Actually, I think he won. I'm going to say Greg won the individual gold medal in 1984, 85, something like that. At Young Riders. So, okay, we're all tied up. We're doing great here, guys. Okay, we're going to go back.
0-0.
Sam. And I know these are hard, but I wanted to have some fun with it. Sam, name the 4 tournaments which comprise the Rolex Grand Slam of show jumping.
Oh, okay, I think I can do it. The Spruce Meadows Masters, the Aachen, the Brussels Stefex Masters.
Yes.
Right? And Geneva, right?
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. We're on the board. Canada's on the board with 1. Well done, Sam. All right. Okay. Daisy, second question for you. Who is the horse that has won 2 USEF Horse of the Year awards and the Chronicle Hunter of the Year that I rode for 5 years and competed in the meter 50 jumpers at Spruce Meadows? Was it A, Brunello, B, Private Practice, C, Mindful, or D, Secretariat?
The horse you competed. No, it's not Secretariat. It's not Private Practice. I'm going to have to go with Brunello.
Oh, Liza Boyd's horse. No, it's actually Mindful. The horse that Kelly Farmer rode.
No, I know that's how I knew that horse before she had it, and I never knew it did that.
Yeah. No, it was actually Mindful. Got him as a 4-year-old, and he was a 2-time Canadian Young Horse Champion, and showed him at Spruce, and then he went on to become a Hunter Star.
I knew him when Callie Schott had him. Yes,
Kelly had him. Okay, so we're down to our final round. So Sam's got 1 point, Daisy's got 2 points. This question is worth 3 points. All right, so we're going to start with Sam. Who won the Maclay Finals in 1980? Was it A, Scott Hofstetter, B, Francie Stein-Waddell, C, Leslie Burr, or D, Laura Belisky?
Is this one me or Sam?
Sam. This is for Sam.
I feel like it was Laura Belisky, so she was the first one to win, right? See?
Is that your final answer? Yes, that is correct.
So because then it was and Brian.
Yes, that is correct. Laura Belisky was the winner of the Maclay finals in 1980. So Daisy, I'm sorry, but Canada's beat you this time. Not your day.
You got the easy ones. It's rigged. It's playing for Team Canada too.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'll ask you your last question, and we'll see if we can get it for you, okay? Name the rider, Daisy, who has not competed for both Canada and the USA in international competition. Is it A, Michael Matz, B, Matt Cohn, C, Mario Delorier, or D, Shaquille O'Neal?
In any international competition?
Well, for the team.
Okay, I'm going to have to go with Shaquille O'Neal on this one.
Yes, that's true. Shaquille O'Neal did not. Can you name the other three? Do you know who did not ride for both Canada and the U.S.?
Michael Matz did not, I don't think.
Michael Matz only rode for America. That is correct. So good job, guys. Okay, Daisy, let's start with you. Best rider all time. Who's the one person that you just think stands out above the rest and out there that you've seen or heard about or watched on video, whatever?
I don't know if I can put it down to one best rider of all time. I'd have to say a few of my favorites who I've just had the most respect for in their whole careers have to be Ludger Beerbaum, Eric Lamaze, McLean Ward, BZ Madden. I think those would be my top four.
Yeah, that's a pretty good top four. That's for sure. Yeah, that is, and you've been able to watch so many of them live in Florida as growing up, and there's so much to pick up at the warm-up ring and watching them show and compete and win, and that is a great group. How about you, Sam? Who are you going to go with as your favorite rider all time?
I think I'm kind of on the same. I'm going to pick top four as well because I'm going to pick top four as well because I can't, pick just one. I think top four for me would be Eric Lamaze, Ian Miller, Marcus Enning, and Steve Kierdat.
Oh, that's, Marcus Enning is truly, for someone as great as he is and for everything he's won, to me, he's underrated. He is such a brilliant tactician and rider. And that is also a fantastic list. 2 Canadians and no Americans on that list, Daisy. Did you hear that?
I noticed.
Yeah, I know. That's fantastic. Guys, thanks so much for being with us tonight. It's really great to see your careers. I'm sure pretty soon, we've seen Sam on the senior team. We're going to see Daisy there very soon with her wonderful horses.
But
oh, try that again, Sam. One more time. Well, we're still having those audio issues from Aiken. So we're going to move on, guys. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, Sam and Daisy. You're wonderful guests, and best of luck this year and in 2021. Hoping for a normal show schedule and a normal show season.
I think I said it a while ago, but I was just saying I know there's no Americans on the list.
That's right. Well, maybe we'll do this list again. Maybe we'll have you guys back as guests next year, and maybe Daisy Farish will be on your list. We'll see how that goes. Next week. So we've gone from the young superstars of the sport of show jumping to an absolute legend. Nelson Passoa is coming on the show next week. It's going to be a special afternoon time on Horse Network. I'm in shock. Can't even believe I'm going to get to talk to Nelson Passoa on the Jay Duke Show. He's such a wonderful character and such a great ambassador to the sport. So join us next Monday afternoon. I want to thank Stable Secretary for supporting us. Great company. You know, you can manage all your stuff from the road, from home, wherever you are. Check out Stable Secretary. I want to thank Horse Network and Carly Sparks for making this all possible. As always, ride safely and respect the horse. Good night.